The rust-stained cargo hauler drifted through the Helix Nebula like a forgotten relic, its hull scarred by decades of interstellar commerce. The ship bore the designation UES Merchant's Rest, though most spacers simply called it the Old Bucket. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, watching the sensor displays with practiced indifference as three massive warships approached from the void. The Corvin. Supremacy had ruled this sector for 2 centuries, their sleek dreadnoughts cutting through space with predatory grace. Admiral Vex commanded the lead vessel, a kilometer-long behemoth bristling with plasma cannons and shield generators. The alien's forearms danced across his command console as he studied the primitive human ship on his screens. "Scan complete," "Admiral," reported his tactical officer. "The vessel shows minimal defensive capabilities. Single-layer shielding, outdated weapon systems, and a crew of only 12 humans." Vex's mandibles clicked in amusement. Humans still playing with their primitive technology while the galaxy moves beyond them. "Signal the fleet to prepare boarding procedures." Aboard the Merchant's Rest, Morrison's weathered face remained calm as his communications officer, Emma Davis, turned from her station. "Captain, they're demanding our surrender. Standard Corvin intimidation protocols." Morrison nodded slowly, his fingers drumming against the armrest of his command chair. "Tom, what's our cargo manifest reading?" Chief Engineer Tom Blake consulted his tablet, though he already knew the answer by heart. 17,000 tons of industrial supplies, medical equipment, and terraforming seeds bound for the frontier colonies. And our passengers? 8 families. 43 people total, including children. Morrison's jaw tightened. The Corvins had a reputation for enslaving human colonists, and their mining operations consumed lives like fuel. He looked at the tactical display, where the 3 enemy warships had formed a perfect triangle around his vessel. "Emma, open a channel to the lead ship." The view screen flickered to life, revealing Admiral Vex's reptilian features. The Corvin's yellow eyes gleamed with predatory confidence as he spoke in heavily accented standard. "Human captain, you will surrender your vessel and prepare for boarding. Your cargo and passengers will be processed according to supremacy law." Morrison stood slowly, his hands clasped behind his back. "Admiral, with all due respect, I'm afraid that won't be possible. This vessel is under Earth Federation protection, and our cargo's bound for sovereign colonial territories." Vex's laugh was a harsh, grating sound. "The Federation is 3 sectors away, human. Your pathetic little ship cannot hope to challenge the might of the supremacy. You have 60 seconds to comply before we disable your engines." The channel closed, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Morrison walked to the forward viewport, watching the enemy ships maneuvering into attack positions. His crew awaited orders, their faces reflecting a mixture of fear and determination. "Captain," Blake said quietly, "the reactor's been running at minimal output for months. We've got maybe 2 full power cycles left before the containment systems fail." Morrison smiled grimly. "That should be enough. Emma, route all power to the engines and prepare to transmit our emergency beacon. Sir, if we try to run, they'll tear us apart before we reach the jump point." "We're not running, Emma. We're delivering our cargo." The tactical officer aboard Vex's flagship reported weapon locks established. "Admiral, the human vessel is powering up their engines. Should we disable them?" "No," Vex replied, his amusement evident. "Let them try to flee. It will make the hunt more interesting." The Merchant's Rest suddenly accelerated, its ancient engines flaring to life with unexpected vigor. But instead of turning toward the nearest jump point, the cargo hauler aimed directly at the lead Corvin warship. "They're on a collision course," the tactical officer reported, confusion creeping into his voice. Vex leaned forward in his command chair. "Impossible. No human would sacrifice themselves for mere cargo. But Morrison had already made his choice. As the distance closed between the vessels, he activated the ship's emergency systems. The Merchant's Rest's cargo bay doors opened, and 17,000 tons of equipment began jettisoning into space. But hidden among the industrial supplies were 47 modified mining charges, each one programmed to detonate on proximity contact. The first explosions bloomed like deadly flowers against the Corvin flagship's shields. Vex's crew scrambled to raise defensive barriers, but the mining charges had been designed to crack asteroid cores. The concentrated detonations created a cascade failure that rippled through the warship's energy grid. Shields down to 30%. Someone shouted over the chaos on the bridge, but Morrison wasn't finished. The Merchant's Rest continued its kamikaze run, and as it passed through the expanding debris field, Chief Engineer Blake initiated the reactor overload sequence. The old cargo hauler's fusion core began cycling beyond its safety parameters, building toward a controlled detonation. "All hands, this is the captain," Morrison announced over the ship's intercom. "Abandoned ship procedures are now in effect. It has been an honor serving with you all." The escape pods launched in rapid succession, carrying the crew and passengers away from the doomed vessel. Morrison remained on the bridge, his hands steady on the controls as he guided the Merchant's Rest toward its final destination. "Admiral," Vex watched in growing horror as the human ship bore down on his flagship. "Full reverse thrust. Get us away from that vessel." Too late. The cargo hauler's reactor achieved critical mass just as it scraped against the Corvin warship's hull. The explosion was visible from 3 star systems away, a brilliant flash that consumed both vessels and sent shockwaves rippling through the surviving enemy ships. The remaining Corvin dreadnoughts, their formations shattered and their admiral dead, retreated into hyperspace rather than face whatever other surprises the humans might have prepared. Days later, Federation rescue ships found the escape pods drifting in the nebula. Emma Davis, now the senior surviving officer, filed her report with trembling hands. The official record would show that the U.S. Merchant's Rest had successfully defended a civilian convoy against overwhelming odds. But throughout the galaxy, word spread among spacers and warriors alike: never underestimate the vessel that looks harmless. For sometimes the greatest weapons are courage and sacrifice wrapped in rust-stained steel.